Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. It's all about the narrative, huh? It's all about perception over reality. And Democrats are masters at this. They're masters at the political mirage. And most recently, this occurred with Joe Biden's visit to Howard University. Howard, of course, a historic black university, probably the most famous among the ranks. And while during this year's graduation ceremony, the university executives thought, who better to speak than sleepy, creepy Joe Biden? As we know, if Howard University didn't let Joe Biden give their graduation speech, well then,
you ain't black.
Now, the media narrative and the crafted public perception is that this was a great moment for Joe, it was a great moment for Howard, but on the inside, as you delve in a little bit, not really. Here's what really happened, and here's how the university graduates actually felt about sleepy, creepy, piss-pants Biden taking the stage and, of course, taking the spotlight during their graduation. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, sleepy creepy piss pants Biden goes to Howard. The headline reads, Biden tells Howard University graduates that white supremacy is the most dangerous terrorist threat. Of course, his tired old shtick.
We know that American history has not always been a fairy tale. From the start, it's been a constant push and pull for more than 240 years between the best of us, the American ideal that we're all created equal, and the worst of us, the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. It's a battle that's never really over. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us, to choose love over hate, unity over disunion, progress over retreat, to stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
You know, this disrespectful old fool. What he probably should have done, heading to Howard University, is simply focus on the graduating class, their future, and try to inspire them to do something great with their lives. But instead, sleepy, creepy Joe Biden went up there to push a divisive message and essentially to attack Republicans indirectly and make it a campaign event. What a pathetic old fool. And it seems like I'm not the only one who feels that way. This clip's going viral all over Twitter right now. Howard University students, during his speech, trashing on the old man basically for the exact same reason.
This is the worst graduation of my life. This is a campaign speech. A campaign speech. You got this white man here, Howard. What is going on?
I would have given a better speech. I did give a better speech at my high school graduation. My high school graduation was a lot better than this bullshit. I'm really disappointed.
Howard, you disappointed us. Tremendous. Like,
we could have had Michael Jordan.
We could have had somebody who actually did something good for something good for the black community. You feel me?
I would have even been fine with 50 Cent. It wouldn't make sense.
Jay-Z.
Steph Curry. I don't know.
LeBron James.
Steph Curry's not even doing anything right now. It's time super
Out of all the people,
I'm not
Howard.
listening to LeBron.
Oh my Lord.
I'm not listening to LeBron. LeBron doesn't have a degree.
Like, bro, what?
I have a degree. I have something that LeBron doesn't. My legacy's stronger.
Nobody looks inspired, nobody looks happy to see Joe there. Most people are questioning, why is this clown on the stage, and why is he giving us a campaign speech? What a clown. Once again, Democrats doing the same thing they always do, using the black community as a platform to promote themselves. I mean, here's the CNN coverage of the event.
President Biden delivered the commencement address on Saturday at Howard University, at times sounding more like candidate Biden. Howard is one of America's oldest and most revered historically black universities. It's also an audience that Biden needs to reach if he hopes to win a second term. CNN's Arlette Sines has our report.
President Biden delivered a commencement address to graduates from Howard University here in Washington, D.C. But much of his speech sounded a lot like a campaign speech, as he urged graduates to consider that the battle for the soul of the nation is not yet complete.
Nothing but Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. It's a complete farce, a complete joke, especially if you have a basic understanding of Joe Biden's political history. Joe Biden was the man to give the graduation speech at Howard University, a historic black university. Joe Biden Biden, the guy who eulogized KKK member Robert Byrd, the guy who, by the way, is the president and the current leader of the Democrat Party, which happens to be the party of the KKK. Joe Biden, who literally said this is an actual quote. 1977, Joe Biden said integrating black students would, quote, turn schools into a racial jungle. A racial jungle. I don't want my kids to grow up in a jungle. A racial jungle, says Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who Cory Booker claimed is the architect of mass incarceration.
He's unveiled his crime bill for a guy who helped to be an architect of mass incarceration. This is an inadequate solution to what is a raging crisis in our country.
Not to mention, Kamala Harris graduated from Howard University. She's a Howard alumni, and even she's on the record from the 2020 debates, essentially pointing the finger at Joe Biden during the primary process, calling him a racist old man. We can't just forget that from the Democrat debates now, can we?
But I also believe, and it's personal, and it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
And of course, I'm not done yet. Apparently, Joe Biden was the best person to speak during their graduation. Joe Biden, the same guy who promised $45 billion of funding to HBCUs, a big promise which he ended up delivering less than 10% of. HBCU funding falls from $45 billion to $2 billion under latest Biden spending plan. The $3.5 trillion bill was set to include $45 billion for HBCUs and other minority-serving institutions, but the newest iteration of the bill only allots $2 billion for educational programs and infrastructures of HBCU. The guy who promises the moon but delivers squat. The guy who promised you student loan forgiveness, yet only used it for a cheap campaign stunt to benefit his political party during the 2022 midterms, dropping it at the last second for some big PR win right ahead of election day to mobilize you young voters to the polls, knowing full well that he wouldn't be able to deliver, that clearly the courts would step in and stop his unconstitutional act. It's the endless frickin' grift. I don't know how black voters aren't sick and tired of this nonsense, this constant pandering, and it's really not even pandering. Because again, the Democrats don't have to. Every single time the Democrats attempt to pander to the black vote, it ends up being some embarrassing moment that's used in the media. Whether it's Joe Biden's conversation with Charlemagne, the infamous "you ain't black" moment, or Hillary Clinton's hot sauce moment. Once again, actually, if I'm not mistaken, that was on Charlemagne's show as well, The Breakfast Club. This empty pandering which ends up being a waste of time because, I mean, let's be real, black voters are going to vote for the Democrat Party a 90% rate no matter what. And really, we're looking at districts where it doesn't really matter. I mean, maybe it matters in Atlanta now that Georgia is an apparent swing state, but for the most part, it's rather inconsequential. I mean, Democrats don't have to fight for the black vote. They simply use black voters and they use black spaces, like HBCUs and black churches, as a platform, as a vessel to appeal to white voters, to appeal to white guilt in the white savior complex. In other words, black voters, Joe Biden is using you, clearly, showing up to your graduation to make it all about himself. And of course, his fight against this non-existent boogeyman, this white supremacist threat that's so clearly exaggerated. I would be furious. I would be pissed. And a lot of the students were, and rightly so. Here's another viral protest from the moment. One student lifting up a sign that says, "Biden and Harris don't care about black people." Absolutely right. If I was one of these students, I'd want to hear a positive message of triumph, something inspirational. I mean, these kids are at the start of their lives, about to enter the adult world, and they're being lectured to by an old, kooky, racist old man pushing grievance politics nonsense for his own damn benefit. It's pathetic. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. And on this video specifically, I'd ask you to leave a comment. I'm actually curious what you guys think about this whole thing. You guys tend to be quite insightful in these moments, so let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.